What is up guys, Stark here, back for day 13 of the 25 Days of Fate, and in today's video we will be doing a character spotlight for the newly announced Ereshkigal. So much like last time, I'm trying to stay on top of the character spotlights. So yesterday it was announced that Ereshkigal and Altera the Sun are coming out to the game, or the Santa, I guess, whatever you want to call her. So today and tomorrow will be spotlights for those two characters, with today being the 5-star servant in the banner, Ereshkigal. Now, Ereshkigal is probably one of the most sought-after servants that haven't been released yet, let's say. And she does come out in a couple days as of recording this video, and I'm pretty excited. I'm sure you guys are pretty excited as well. But let's go ahead and take a look at her stats and her skills and all that, and see if she's actually a good character to get, or if people are just pulling for her because of Rin, which is why I'm pulling for her anyway. But she is a 5-star Lancer, and at level 90 she will have a whopping 16,065 HP and 10,343 attack. This will rank her second overall in HP, just falling behind Joan of Arc. And her attack stat is a little bit lower to make up for the high HP, but it still ranks 58th overall, which isn't that bad. Her star absorption is 90, her star generation is 11.8, and her noble phantasm generation on her attacks is going to be 0.54%, and on defense it will be 4%. Moving straight along to her skills, her first skill is going to be the Hidden Great Crown A. This will grant herself invincibility for 1 turn, and then she also does have a chance to grant herself 3 different buffs, and that'll be debuff immunity for 1 turn, instant death immunity for 1 turn, and buff removal immunity for 1 turn, or a 100% chance for buff removal. So the percentages are going to be pretty high. Starts at 60%, goes to 80%, and the numbers you see on the screen are the chance for the skill to activate, not like the percentages. They're all just immunity for 1 turn. But 80% at level 10 is pretty solid. Obviously you'd wish it would be 100%. But, you know, these are really good effects to have, and it'll make her really hard to die if you have, you know, all these effects go off on the same turn. But even if you don't get them off, you know, you still have the invincibility. That's a 100% chance to activate. That's not part of the chance-based effects. So even if all 3 of them fail, you're still invincible for 1 turn. So that's going to be really nice, you know, to dodge, you know, noble phantasms and things like that. So very helpful there. It is unfortunately on a 6-turn charge time though, so you do have to wait quite a few turns in between. So you're going to have to pick and choose when you use this. But the nice part about this skill is that it doesn't have anything like offensive. So you can sit there and wait for when you have to use it, and then, you know, just wait for it to come back without losing any other effects to the skill. Her second skill is going to be the Mana Burst Cage A+. This will increase her Buster Card effectiveness for 1 turn, as well as charging her own Noble Phantasm gauge. So this is another fantastic skill with a 50% increase to your Buster Card effectiveness for 1 turn, so you can set up Burst Turn pretty nice there. And getting 50% increase to your gauge as well is going to be really helpful. She doesn't have the best generation for her Noble Phantasm, and she only does have 1 Arts card. So having a skill that can give you a 50% increase to your gauge is going to be really helpful in getting her Noble Phantasm charged. It is on a 6-turn charge time once again though at max level, so there's going to be a bit of dead time in between, so you just have to manage that and you should be okay. Her third and final skill is going to be the Protection of the Netherworld EX, and this is a pretty unique skill honestly. So it'll grant protection of the Underworld status for 3 turns to all of your allies, and we'll touch up a little bit on that a little bit later when we talk about her Noble Phantasm. But for now, just it's like I don't know, it's a weird thing. It's just a buff. It doesn't do anything, but it just gives that character that status for 3 turns. But it will also increase the defense of all of your allies for 3 turns, the Noble Phantasm generation of all of those allies for 3 turns, and their maximum HP for 3 turns. So there's a lot in this skill, and it's still on a 6-turn charge time, so with all these skills lasting 3 turns, you're not going to have to wait too long in between usages of this skill. You do get a 20% increase to your defense, a 30% increase to your Noble Phantasm generation, and a 3,000 HP increase at max level for your HP. So that's going to be really nice. This skill is really fantastic. For her passives, she's going to have 3 of them. The first one will be the Magic Resistance D, which will increase your debuff resistance by 12.5%. The second one is the Territory Creation A+, which will increase your Arts card effectiveness by 11%. And then finally, she has the Core of the Goddess B+, which will apply damage plus 225 and also increase her debuff resistance by 22.5%. So overall, as a whole, I think Ereshkigal has a fantastic kit of skills, even if her first skill requires like a chance-based effect. If they all fail, you still have invincibility for 1 turn, which is going to be really nice. And she does some really good damage. Her third skill is phenomenal as well. So overall, I'm going to give her 4.5 stars in the skill category. Now taking a look at her command card deck and her Noble Phantasm, she has 2 quick, 1 arts, 2 busters, and the hit counts are going to be 4 on the quick, 6 on the arts, 1 on the buster, 4 on her extra attack, and 5 on her Noble Phantasm. So she's got a pretty balanced deck. Unfortunately though, she does only have that 1 arts card, but it does have 6 hits on it, so you're going to be able to make up for it a little bit, you know, especially if you do have your Noble Phantasm gain increase going there. So it's not the end of the world trying to get her Noble Phantasm generated, but you really do have to keep that Noble Phantasm generated consistently so you can use her Noble Phantasm and gain the effect of it. So she does have 2 buster cards, which is nice because you do have your Noble Phantasm as a buster, so you can do Buster Brave Chains, and her Noble Phantasm will deal damage to all enemies, and it will also increase the attack of all allies with Protection of the Underworld status by 20% for 3 turns. So this is what we were talking about before. If you use your third skill and then you use your Noble Phantasm, you're going to get an increase to your attack as long as that ally has the status. So if one of your allies that has it dies and a new one comes in, they won't get it, but the other ones will. So this is going to be very helpful, and you really want to use your Noble Phantasm within that 3-turn time frame of the third skill. And then you want to just keep recycling that so you keep this attack boost up as much as possible. The overcharge effect will increase your buster card effectiveness for 1 turn as well for Ereshkigal, so you want to also try and overcharge it, so having a NP2 or higher Ereshkigal will definitely be a huge benefit to you in the long run. So yeah, overall for damage, I'm going to give her 4 stars. She could do some really good damage. She has some decent attack buffs as well. So the only reason why she loses a few points is because it is closely tied to her Noble Phantasm, and that they only last for 1 turn for like her buster card increases, and she has low base attack stats to begin with. You know, I'm just kind of nitpicking here a little bit, but it is what it is. Bring in Merlin and that changes really fast, but I'm not counting that into the ranking. So overall 4 stars. For her critical ability, she's only going to get 3 stars. She doesn't have anything for crits at all, so you really can't get anything there. She has decent base stats, so she got half a point. But not much else to talk about for crits. That's not what she's here for, so moving on. Her Noble Phantasm will get 4.5 stars. It's a very good Noble Phantasm. It does some pretty good damage, has some really cool effects, and the overcharge effect is also really good. And it's AoE, so that's always helpful. AoE Noble Phantasms are always very helpful, especially for farming and wave clears. Survivability is going to get 4.5 stars. Obviously, when you're ranked 2 in the game in HP stats, you're going to get, you know, a little bit of a boost there overall. And she does have invincibility, and her third skill increases your defense and your max HP, and she has all sorts of like immunities on her first skill as well. So she's going to be very, very hard to kill. So if you get her max level as soon as possible, she's going to be somewhat of a tank there for you. And then for her versatility, I'm also going to give her 4.5 stars here. She does have universal buffs with her Noble Phantasm, as long as they have that status on there, and then her third skill as well is going to be very helpful, keeping your team alive and buffing them up at the same time. That alone is enough to just get you into pretty much any team you want, and then you have an AoE Noble Phantasm as well, so you can fit yourself into like wave clears, farming team. She does have a, you know, instant Noble Phantasm gain to her second skill, so you could bring in a craft essence like the Holy Night Supper, and then you get like the rest of your gauge filled to start the fight with, as well as getting a huge increase to your Noble Phantasm damage. So that works pretty good. You just use that, combo it with your second skill, have your instant Noble Phantasm. So you could use your third skill and then use your Noble Phantasm to get the increase to attack, clear the wave, and you're good to go. So overall, that will give her a 4.2 out of 5 for her ranking. I do think she's a fantastic servant, so even if you are pulling her just because she looks like Rin, then, you know, take solace in the fact that she's also a really good servant as well. So you should definitely be able to use her a lot in a lot of different teams. And if you have Merlin as well, then you're pretty much set. So if you have Merlin, you should be pulling for her. If you don't have Merlin, you should be pulling for her. I think she's a very good servant to pull for. The only reason why I wouldn't suggest pulling for her is if you are free to play and you want Hokusai, who comes out next. So I guess that could be a reason why you'd want to skip. But honestly speaking, you should pull for her and then pull for Hokusai next. But it's just me. I'm going to pull for both anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I have the links below to my Twitter, Twitch, Patreon, and Discord, so feel free to check those out, as well as the 25 Days of Fate Christmas giveaway I'm running on my channel. All you have to do to enter that is to comment on that video and subscribe to my channel, and you'll enter yourself in to have a chance to win a $100 gift card to iTunes or Google Play. So definitely make sure you take care of that before the 25th. And I will leave you guys here with Ereshkigal's Noble Phantasm, and I will see you guys tomorrow.
お願いメスラムタイヤ冥界の守りを知りなさいイデオ発熱神殿これが私のクルキガルイ